I'll go through the process and then we'll review that. And this will be for this week and also for the assessment on Croissant Danish chocolate croissant and so forth for the assessment the week after. So for this, water spray, rolling pin, ruler, paring knife, sharp, and in the bunker, everybody's got one bunker, and we'll prepare this tomorrow and Wednesday for the following week. And we've got butter sheet, 1 kilo, and we've got a dough piece in there, which is 2.6 kilo. So not too much flour. We're doing this inclusion, just enough so it doesn't stick. So the goal for this first step is to pin this out 25 centimeters by 80 centimeters. Okay, and that will make sense when we go to include the butter. So I've got 30 here, so I'm already going to get that dough the right shape. So there is the 25 centimeters. Now I will extend it now to the 80 centimeters. Now down in 5 centimeter increments. 15 now. And go to 8, and then I'll check the length. So 80 centimeters. Great. We've got 80 centimeters. That's at 8 millimeter. So that dough just here for now. And I can continually size this dough as well, stretching and pushing and folding. Now I'm going to get the butter sheet. Keep this in the fridge until you're ready to start rolling. It's very similar to, well, similar in a way to the puff pastry that we did. Using technical butter again, just enough flour, just so it doesn't stick to the rollers. And we need to make that pliable. Again, I'm going to use the ruler. And I want to make this a little bit bigger than 25. Make this 30 by 50. So that's 30 or 28, 25 centimeters now. I'm going to go back to, I think it was 13. It just bites on this butter. We'll just check it. So that was 13. Back. It's going to go a bit higher. Yeah, 14. I really just want those rollers just to hit this and start extending that without it actually deforming the butter sheet. And 15. And 15 it will be. So what I did then was just basically trying to get the rollers to just hit the butter sheet, and we will start this at 15. So that's 15, 12, 10. Well, not too much, but just so I probably don't want it to stick to the rollers. And I want to get this butter sheet 50 centimeters in length. So I've got 40 now. 7 mil. So check that. There you go. That should give me the 30. So I've got there the 30 centimeters length. I've got 50. Now I've got a little bit of shaping to do with this because it's not exactly straight. So just take the joint to the other side. Now, I'm just going to push this down so whether you can see. There's my dough sheet there. And there's my butter sheet. Just going to stretch and form. Making sure that I've got the dimensions correct, and the butter should just be really should exceed the outside. It's a bit like making a sandwich. Just going to make it a little bit longer to get that 80. Now I've got the 80. So what I'm going to do now is cut this in half. So I'm going to cut it at the 40 centimeters. Now I'm just going to move it back to the sheet just so you've got a better view of what's going on. Just a bit of water. Not much, but just enough for the butter sheet to stick. And still form this to the dough. And really what I want to get is dough and fat, like a nice bit of water. Not too much, right? Just enough to stick the dough sheet on top. And just stretch it. And that way you can form. Sure that it's connected and it's not going to slip around. I'm concerned about the exposed butter. We've got that little bit of butter here. That belongs just over here. So, it's connected. So I've got this like, I don't know, it's like a sandwich, right? Okay, now I'm going to measure this again. And I'm going to do, so that is the inclusion. Now I'm going to do the full potatoes. That's good. Got like the 25 centimeters. A little bit more, but just a bit. Again, still a bit of flour, not much. If the dough is really nice and cold, it shouldn't really need any flour at all. So back to 20. 15, 10. Just checking this width. Oh, sorry, the length. And this time I want to get, look, between 100 and 110. 60. A little bit more. And that will be, I'm going to try 9. Now that I'm going to check it, I'm just going to open the gate. I was on 9. I'm just going to open the gate right up. $60. A little bit longer. So it will be 8 mil. Just go back. 8 mil will be the same for the, to get that correct length for the phone. Again, just so the information is clear. Right, so we've got exactly 100. All right, so this is what's a little bit different than we had done last when we were doing the puff pastry. An air bubble. If you get any air pockets, just take them out. Just a little bit of water. Not much, just enough for it to stick. Now I'm going to fold this side. I'll do it from the front so you can see. So I'm going to fold it not in half, just going to go 1/4. And then I bring this other side over to match it up. The reason that you don't do it directly in half is that when you fold it in half, it will separate that middle part. And I really want to have butter dough, butter dough. And the other difference between what we did with puff pastry and the croissant is we're going to expose the layers as we're laminating. Right, so I'm just going to do just a thin cut to expose the fat. You can see it's exposed on the side. Expose it on each side. And bring it over again. Now, don't get confused about this cutting and which side is the mouth and which side is the sidewall. So this is the sidewall. This is the mouth. You remember the mouth, I always roll towards the mouth. I'm just going to make this block just a little bit. I'll do that with a rolling pin. This time I'm going to roll the pastry block a little bit longer. Right, so this is the first turn. We do this book turn. We do the inclusion. We do the 2 book turns straight away. We don't wait between the turns. Checking that I've got 25 centimeters wide. And I do. And it's about 350 in length. Just making sure that it's connected and it's full. So I don't want the pastry to get caught under to get stuck on the rollers. I wanted to be able to very easily start to hit down. Well, I'm going to start at 30 this time. 5. Now I'm going to go down in, now I'm down to 20. Now I'm going to go a little bit more gentle, because remember with the gluten, I've already stretched it one way. Now I'm stretching it the other way. There will be a bit of resistance actually, because I've already worked the gluten. $15. 12. And this time I want to get between really between 120 and 150. So that will influence how wide the block is. So we need essentially we need 40 centimeters in the middle for the final block, and that is on how long that we in this final book term. Down to 10. Check. So I'm at 105. I'm going to try the 8 mil again. That seemed to be easy to remember. That should give us open the gate up just a minute. I don't want to do any pinning or make any mistakes with the so that's 120. It's going to go a little bit thinner. So I've got 8. It's going to go under 8 mil. The same process again. Getting rid of any excessive flour. Bit of a water spray. Not enough to make it slippery, but just enough to make it sticky. So those layers, same thing. Yeah, I'm going to bring that in. And bring the other side in. Joining in the middle. And remember, it's a bit off center, so it's not directly in the middle. Expose the sides again. Not much. Get exposed here. That's the mouth. You can see, maybe bring it closer, you can see the layering, and that is the mouth, right? Don't forget which side's which. Now I'm going to check the dimensions of this block, because what I really want is a block that is now not 25 centimeters wide, but 40 centimeters wide. So I've got 30. So I'm just going to make this a little bit longer. So we could have rolled that really probably down to 7 mil, and that would give a block that is 40 centimeters wide. The reason that it's 40 centimeters wide is that we need to get a certain amount of shapes and cuts out of this block, and that width is what we need to get the maximum amount of cuts So we get croissant, the Danish, the savoury, and the chocolate croissant. Wider. Playing around with the width of the block. I'm just playing around with the width. It's a bit like this, even though it's a little bit unstable. A shader. Size it up. And I've got the 40 centimeters. Now, this is where it goes back into the fridge. It should fit exactly into your bunker, and it should fill that whole chamber. Just going to put the plastic over the top. Yeah. And put the lid onto the, and then put the lid on top. That will then go into the fridge. So I'm just going to review now that process. So out of this block of pastry, we're getting the Danish and the Croissant. All right, so you can see there the steps. So we've got go back. We've got step number 1 is preparing the dough. Now, I didn't fold this dough piece in half because I've just made this dough, and it is really, the gluten is really tight, right? So I've fully developed this dough. However, that dough will, when Team Tuesday and Team Wednesday get their doughs, they would have been in the cool room for 24 hours, right? So they're really cold, and also the gluten is fully relaxed. So that's where you incorporate this folding of the dough piece, just to like tighten that dough up. But we'll assess that tomorrow and on Wednesday. And also that process is also to degas, right? To take out any of the old gas bubbles and replenish that with some fresh, the yeast has got some fresh air, fresh oxygen, but also some fresh CO2 gas, which is what the yeast produces when it ferments. Pin the dough out to 25 centimeters by 80 centimeters, right? So that was the first step that I did, where I rolled the dough to that diameter. Then I put the butter on the dough sheeter, and then I rolled that butter. I started at 15 mil, and I rolled that down to 8 mil, and that gave me a sheet of butter. The dimensions there are 25 centimeters wide and 50 centimeters in length. I don't think we need to go to 60. 50 was fine. Then step number 3 is to make this sandwich. So we've got a dough piece on the bottom, a little bit of water. We lay the butter on top, and then we lay the other dough piece, a dough sheet on top of that, and it sort of makes a sandwich. The butter should be exposed, okay? Just making sure it's secure. Then we did our first book, placed the dough on the dough break, and we ran that to 100 to 110 centimeters in length. It should still remain between 25 centimeters, between 25 and 30 centimeters in width, where we really want to influence that length. And I ran that through at 8 mil as well. And that gave me then that 25 centimeters wide. And you can see that folding process, and then down the bottom, that image there where it says 25 centimeters wide, expose those edges and make sure the mouth is what faces the sheeter. Then we went straight up and did the book fold, mouth towards the rollers, and then we rolled that second book to 120, I think 130 it needs to be. I was 120, it was a little bit short. I'm getting a block that is 40 centimeters wide. So go the full 130. You might have to go down to 7 mil for that. Do that book fold. Get that 40 centimeters in width. When we fold it up and put it in your bunker, make sure that the when you place it in the bunker, like the short part of the bunker, that's where it's facing, right? When we go to do that last roll. It then goes into your fridge. It has at least 20 minutes, right? It needs time to cool down, time to rest. I think that we probably even will go half an hour. Then we will go on to rolling and cutting, and I'll share that process. And this is pretty much what we want to get out of that dough block or pastry block. So you should see there that we're going to sheet this out. We need to have at least 36 centimeters. We need 36 centimeters in width. We've got it 40, but and it will shrink, it will change, but that means that we've got a little bit of scrap on each side, and we will pin that out to 4 millimeter, and that gives us like a pastry sheet that we can get the 12 croissants, the 6 Danish and the 6 chocolate croissants, which is what is required for the effect. I'll do another demonstration on just rolling or cutting and rolling.